For 75 to 80k, are you going to go GT4 or GTS? Let's take a look. So whilst these are two seemingly very different Porsches, a mid-engined Cayman GT4 versus a rear-engined four-seater 911 GTS, it's actually a conundrum we get asked about very often. So let's compare and contrast. Right, let's have a little recap of the specs of these two cars. I'm going to get in them, drive them and have a listen to them because that's more exciting than listening to me. So these were 2019 introduced because it's the 718 GT4 we're talking about today. 4 litre, naturally aspirated, beautiful soundtrack to this car, absolutely epic. We've actually owned one of these. It was so tough. It took all of the abuse, wicked little car. But anyway, mid-engined, very light. I think it's about 1380 kilos, about the same as an R96 GT3. The suspension, quite importantly on this car, was derived from the GT3. So we've got loads of adjustment on the standard hardware and we can make them quite aggressive or we can make them very road friendly. And essentially they were offered in 2 trim levels. So we've got a comfort spec car, which has sports seats, no roll cage, beautiful thing, you can drive it every day. Or you can have a club sport with a roll cage with 918 bucket seats, harnesses, and you can go around the Nürburgring in something probably close to 7 minutes if you've got a bit more talent than me. Look awesome, lovely big wang on the back of it. What's not to like? So what about the 911 GTS? Well, so many things totally opposite. First of all, not mid-engined, rear-engined, obviously 911, not Cayman. 4 seats, not 2 seats. Also, then when we start to get into the tech details a little bit, it's where it starts to separate the two cars. So here we've got a 3 litre twin turbo engine and so much torque, it's absolutely unbelievable. Sounds epic though as well. Inside, both cars have PASM, the Porsche Active Suspension Management, whereas on the GT4, because that's a GT3 derived suspension, we've also got the ability to adjust the ride heights. This one's obviously fixed and offered both with a PDK and a manual gearbox, and in terms of interior, loads and loads of Alcantara. So straight in on the GT4, what are you going to notice when you get in this car and first drive it? First thing you're going to notice is the cabin is lovely and cosy, but I'm 6'2", plenty of headroom above me. I can even fit in this car with a helmet on, which is quite a good test of a car. Driving position, absolutely spot on. But in terms of from the first revolution of one of the wheels, what do you feel? It feels tight. So what I mean by that is the steering input to the car reacting is crisp. It's obviously not race car crisp, but it is bloody good without being annoying on the road, because it's easy to make a car that's really aggressive, but for the rest of the time is plain pain in the arse. This does what you want it to do and is suitably focused. This particular example is also a PDK, gear shifts quicker than you're ever going to do yourself, totally faultless. Match that with that naturally aspirated engine, just sounds so good. Body roll, it has body roll, it rides with the road really nicely. Road noise, you do get a little bit of road noise because you've got sodding great 20-inch wheels behind you, you're going to get that. So there's always an offset with cars somewhere, you can't have it all. But the first thing you notice, as I say, is a very tight, controlled driving experience, which is quite focused. You could drive this every day without a shadow of a doubt. And equally, because it's got that adjustable GT3 suspension, we can make it more focused, if you want it, or less focused. Overall, 9 out of 10. And as if by magic, we're now in a GTS. And this job is not bad sometimes. It has its moments. Anyway, what I want you guys to feel is what are you going to notice as a difference? If you're watching this, you're thinking, which one am I going for? So initial driving impressions from hopping out of the GT4 into the GTS. First of all, you feel you're in an area cabin. It feels like a bigger car. There's not that much of a dimensional difference, but it is slightly bigger. That feeling of spaciousness is helped because we've got a sunroof. Obviously, we've got more glass because we've got 2 back seats behind us and all of that kind of stuff. And I guess that's one of the themes, is that you've got a little bit more luxury in this car. The ride control is a little bit softer than the GT4. And I think if you pushed both cars to 9.5 tenths, this would start to feel its weight. It's a little bit heavier than the other car. But in terms of real world driving, so driving this thing all out on the road, picking your kids up from school, going for a blat with your mates, there's not that much between them. I mean, this car doesn't have the beautiful engine note, and it can't do because it's not naturally aspirated, but it's twin turbo, and she's got some grunt. I mean, wait, that spun up a little bit there. So it's still exciting, but in a different way. And I love torquey cars. I just love that effortless performance where you're not having to razz the bejesus out of her to get her going. So it's more practical. Yes, it feels a tiny little bit heavier. Steering input, like I was talking about on the GT4, that response to what I'm doing, crisp out. They feel like they're from the same family, because guess what? They are. Are you ever going to be disappointed if you bought this instead of a GT4? No way, absolutely not. You can do 200 miles an hour in this car, you could drive it every day, you could use it for road trips, you could even do the odd track day. It's not what she's designed for, and I think you'd get everything a bit too hot, but it would give it a bloody good go. I love it. So in conclusion, it would actually be very, very easy to sit on the fence on this one. But if I'm being totally honest, how this would play out in the real world is it's different for every guy or girl who's buying these cars. So one of my first questions would be is, what are you using the car for? How often are you really going to go on track? Because these things will actually dictate which way you go. Arguably, the GT4 is the best value for money sports car you can buy. At 75 grand, there's not much that's an awful lot quicker. It costs buttons relatively for its car type to run. It looks cool, its handling is epic, and it's got a lovely naturally aspirated engine. Whereas on the GTS side, we've got more practicality, we've got better on-road manners if we're being honest about it. It's a slightly more gentle car to enjoy and love, and you could probably put more miles on that without worrying about it too much. Me, 3 children, 2 dogs, I don't have a lot of time outside of work for doing track days and stuff like that. It would be the GTS for me. Later on in my life, it could be for the GT4, or earlier on in my life, it could be a GT4. You conclude.